Hey everyone, good morning. Good morning. This is the first time I've done this. I'm using my streaming device. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. So, I'm actually on YouTube, I'm on Instagram. I tried to connect to some other platforms, but it didn't work. So, hopefully, this is working. I'm able to see everyone jumping in on Instagram, not YouTube yet, but it's happening. So, this is a test for me. So, bear with me. What I'm doing is going live because there's about 12 hours left in the corporate prison break offer that I'm running for my school community that ends tonight at midnight. And I thought I would come on, answer any questions, and just go as live as I can and maybe set some goals for signups, answer any questions about the community. Most of you who are in here have probably, you might even be in the group, you might have thought about joining. So I'm here to answer your questions, your concerns, and just remind you that this school community, W2 Prison Break Nation, does come with a 7-day free trial. It ends tonight at midnight. And I'll just talk about some of my thought processes as to why I'm doing this, why I chose to go this route. I used to have and by the way, I hope everyone is having a great holiday season, getting some rest and relaxation, and looking forward to 2025. We only have 2 days left, less than 2 days left in 2024. And then we begin 2025. And I'm not necessarily a huge believer in everyone coming in. Hello, welcome. I'm not necessarily a huge believer in New Year's resolutions. However, I do have targets and goals, and I do believe in those for 2025. I just don't think that we should start thinking about a New Year's resolution in like October or November and say, "Well, this year's done. I'm just going to start clean in 2025." I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe in that. I think if you want to change your life, like the time to do it is right now. However, I have goals for 2025. I'd love to hear what some of yours are for 2025. I've been kind of mapping out the first 90 days. I always think that's a little bit more achievable, is to look at the first quarter and what's the one thing I want to accomplish. Like if you have a big goal, like at the end of 2025, I want to be here. And I teach all my one-to-one students this. I want to be here in terms of my health and fitness, my wealth, my relationships. And in order to get there, I have to make sure that I'm doing things like what's my target for, like, just to use an example with weight loss, because everybody can relate to that. It's like, all right, 2025, I want to be in the best shape of my life, right? I'm tired. I ate too much over the holidays. I want to be here for 2025. I want to lose 15 pounds. I want to add 10 pounds of muscle, whatever your goal is. Well, that doesn't happen overnight. So if you have this large health and fitness goal for 2025, like where are you going to be on March at the end of the first quarter in March, March the 30th? Where are you going to be? And go attack that particular goal and then break that down into, okay, what do I have to do? What's my 90-day plan? Break it down by the week and then break it down by the day. And it becomes a lot more achievable than it's like, oh my goodness, I have to be in the best shape of my life by the end of the year. What do we need to do for the next 90 days? And sprint towards that, and you'll get a lot closer to your year end goal. What's everyone doing for New Year's? Does anyone have plans for New Year's? And I'm assuming everyone can hear me. I'm just going to type into the chat here. Can you guys hear me? This is the first, I'm using this streaming device. I use a streaming device called, or I actually use it for my podcast. It's called Riverside.fm. And I use it for my podcast show and I use it for high quality videos on YouTube, but it has the capability to stream to multiple platforms. So right now I'm on YouTube and I'm on Instagram. I could be on Facebook. I chose not to do that. You can go to, other platforms as well. TikTok, you can go to any type of RTMP site, I think it's called. So as long as you have that key, you can stream pretty much everywhere. You can go to LinkedIn. So it's pretty cool. And then it records the actual, it's recording this, and then I'll get a recorded version of it with everything that I said, and including the transcript, which is kind of awesome. So I've got about 12, 13 hours left. So I'll just tell you, talk to you guys about the my school communities. I've had two of them, and I don't think I can share my screen here on Instagram. I could share it definitely on YouTube, but I had a mastermind group that I started a little over a year ago. Some of my one-to-one students, my one-to-one clients asked for it. They said, "Hey, look, I like working with you one to one, but I'd like to be around other people that are like me, that are going through the same things as me." And two people said that, and I started the group. Anyways, we're on a different platform, and I just wasn't getting the same. I didn't really love the platform. Like, it was hard to interact, and it wasn't the best. But I started the mastermind, and then I learned about the school platform because I'm a big fan. I follow Alex Hormozy, and he is investing in school. And I said, I got to go on. This is going to, anything the guy touches pretty much turns to gold. So I decided to go all in and move the mastermind group to school. And it's been a good experience so far. But the strategy over there is because everything's in one spot. So you basically have your community feed, you have your classroom, so you can put all your courses in there. And I don't have a lot of courses by design because I find that most of the people that I work with are kind of coursed out, right? Like they've taken all the courses. What they really need is accountability. Like, most people don't want to admit this. They don't even know that they need it. They don't need more courses. They don't need more stuff to be taught. They need to be reminded that stuff needs to be done. And you do that, you when you get around people who will help you focus and hold you accountable, then you get stuff done. Most people know what to do. Like, you guys have all watched enough YouTube videos, you've probably taken enough courses, you've read enough books, you've listened to enough podcasts to realistically know how to start a business, how to launch a business, what business to start is something that most people get hung up on because you think that's the thing that's going to make or break you. Like, hey, if I pick the wrong business idea, then everything's going to crumble. And nothing could be further from the truth. It's not the business that matters. It's your commitment to the business that matters the most. So that your ability to stick with it, your ability to, just like with anything, like, and if you focus and you commit and you do it for a long period of time, success is inevitable. And that's where most of us get hung up, is we can't focus on one thing for more than, I mean, some of us have shiny object syndrome, that it's like every 2 weeks you're doing something different. But when you go into business, you really need to adopt the mindset that I'm in this for the long term. Like, this isn't something. I hear so many people like, "Hey, I'm going to give this a try." It's like, no, no, you're not trying it out. Like, you're going to do it. Like, when you go and interview for a position, a 9 to 5 position, and you go to the interviewer, you don't say, "Hey, I'd like to try this job out." No, you're like, "I want the job. Like, I want this. I see myself being here for 10 years." It's like, you would never say, "Hey, I'm going to test this." You're not going to get the job if you say that. So the mindset needs to be very similar going into business. It's like, I'm not testing this out to see if it works. Like, you're going to go all in on it. And if it doesn't work, then you figure out why it doesn't work versus, well, that didn't work. I knew it wouldn't work. I told you, everyone told me it wouldn't work. It's like, figure out why it's not working, because the majority of you are not going to come into business day one and light it up. It's just not the way that it works. You have to start to adopt the mindset that you are going to do work in business and not get paid for it. And you're not used to doing that, because what you're used to doing in your corporate career is like, I do work, I work 40 hours or I work 80 hours and I get a paycheck. In business, when you start a business, you're going to work for nothing for a long period of time. I tell this story a lot. Before I ever made my first dollar in business, I worked for 4 months. This is when I was still in the real estate business. I worked for 4 months and didn't collect any money. Now I was still working my job, and I always recommend that. I believe in building your business alongside of of working. There's no reason for you to quit unless you're absolutely, your situation is dire and it's a mental health situation. And I never recommend quitting. Maybe get a different job, but don't just quit unless you have the ability to, right? Like I didn't have the ability to do that. It didn't work for me. But you absolutely can build something alongside of your 9 to 5. I mean, I see people do it every single day. They do it. They're doing it in my community, W2 Prison Break Nation. Like I did it, but I worked for 4 months without collecting a check, and my first check wasn't a lot of money, and I had to share it, right? So, and it wasn't anything that was going to change my life in terms of, oh, hey, I can quit my job now, but it was a proof of concept situation, and it got me into the mentality that, like, hey, I need to continue to do this, like output, like doing the small things every single day that get me to those checks. And I continue to do that. And it's not really difficult stuff, right? I was making phone calls, I was going on appointments, I was closing deals. It was like there wasn't a lot of higher level stuff that needed to be done. And this is where I think people get hung up on when they're going into business, is that you have to learn all of these different skills. It's like if you're in sales and you know how to call people and you know how to cold call people and talk to people and close deals, like you're halfway there. Now being being in sales, like having a sales background is not necessarily a requirement to be in business. You are definitely going to have to learn sales without question. And all of you have sales ability. Like you've all been selling stuff for your entire life. Like you've been selling your parents, to when you were a kid to get stuff. I mean, my kid does it. And we all did it. So we're all selling. We just may not have, quote unquote, the title salesperson, but we're always selling, and that's something that you're going to have to do as a business owner. You just have to embrace that fact, unfortunately. And that's okay. That's all stuff that you can learn how to do, and it doesn't have to be a painful type of a situation. Sorry, just taking a sip of water here. So when you get into business, if you can adopt that mindset, like, hey, this is not a short term thing. I'm just trying it out. Like, if you, I correct anybody who says that. He says, yeah, I'm going to give this a try. It's like, I don't want you to try. I want you to commit to this. Like, you got to make the decision. You got to commit, and you have to focus. Again, you would never sit in a job interview and say, yeah, I'm just going to try this job out and see if it works. Like, if you said that to the interviewer, you're not getting the job. There's no way you're getting the job. Alonzo, what's up? I think you're in here. Everyone who's coming in, welcome. I'm doing this. Hopefully, this is working out well. I'm doing this live on YouTube, and I'm doing this live on Instagram, um, testing this out. So this is the first time I've actually done this, where I've streamed to multiple platforms, and hopefully the quality's good. And hopefully you guys can hear me, because that would suck if you couldn't hear me. But I'm live here answering your questions. Just talking a little bit about what I'm doing with my school communities and my coaching business, W2 Prison Break Nation. And unfortunately, I can't share a screen on uh, Instagram, but I can share it on YouTube. But I won't do that. But I have two school communities, and I have a free one and I have a paid one. And that's kind of like the model that a lot of people have adopted. Not everyone has done that, but the free group was my lead magnet. I would basically run advertisements. So I would run ads on Facebook, meta ads, to my free community, right? And that worked pretty well for a while. I got up to about 350-ish, 355 members. Now, every one of those people who are in my free community, you have a plan to ascend them, right? You have a plan to nurture them and get them into the paid community, your paid thing, which is very similar to like a lot of the lead magnets that you guys will see. Maybe you'll download some stuff. Maybe you have my lead magnet. And I teach all this in my group and in my one-to-ones, where you have a way of getting people onto your email list, right? And that and or your lead magnet. And my lead magnet at the time was the free community. Now, here's the problem with free communities, and this is what I found, and I suspected this to be the case, is when you have people that are taking your stuff for free, like they're just not as invested and they're just simply not as engaged. So while I had 355 or 355 people in my free community, I had maybe 10% of that. Sorry, I have about 38 people in my paid group. The engagement in the paid group is 10, 15, 20 times more than the free community because they're serious and they're invested in change. And that's always going to be the case. Like whether I've run masterminds for years, I've been a part of them, and in any type of a group, whether it's free, whether it's paid, or whether it's like you're paying a lot of money to be in them, and I've been in very high level masterminds, you're always going to have three different buckets of people. You're going to have people that are at the very, very top, right? That come to everything, that show up. And that's usually a very low percentage of the people who are the most successful. Then you're going to have kind of middle of the road, like people who are just, there to consume and not really participate. And they're just really not sure. Again, hey, I'm going to try this out group. And then you have the third group of people, which unfortunately is the majority, which they don't do anything. Like they'll join and they'll never show up. They won't come to anything, or they'll come to very, very limited stuff. And I've seen this at all levels. It doesn't matter if it's paid. It doesn't matter if it's free. It doesn't matter if it's, $50,000 a year or more. I've seen people just simply not come and not show up. But in a free situation, like the people who don't come to stuff is very, very high because they're not vested. They haven't like given their dollars, right? They haven't given their credit card. They haven't made an investment. So that matters a little bit. And I just found that managing the free community just wasn't something that I had the bandwidth for. And it took away from me being able to coach people one to one, and for me to be able to help the people who were ready to be helped. Like the majority of the people in the free community were just simply not ready to be helped. And that's not my wheelhouse. Like I want people who are ready to roll and just need some guidance, right? They need to get accountability added to their life. They need help focusing, and they usually need help with belief, right? The belief that they can start their own business, the belief that, their skills have value. Like I get a lot of people that come into my groups that just say, well, hey, I'm not good at anything, or nobody would ever pay me money for anything. And I'm like, bullshit. You're getting paid right now in your job for your skills. And you're getting paid, some of you are getting paid very, very well for your skills. So I don't subscribe to that at all. I don't buy that. And that we have to help you get over that, because if you've worked in a corporate career for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I mean, I was in corporate for 25 years and I fed the same nonsense that some of you guys feed yourselves, which is like nobody would ever buy from me. That's like, yeah, they do buy from you because you have all like you guys who think that you have to go learn this brand new skill like real estate or, YouTube automation or whatever the flavor of the month, spoon fed system is, you don't have to do that. You already have the ability, you already have the skills, you already have the life experience and the knowledge that you've been building up. And you need to learn how to share that with other people. So it's really just a matter of packaging up what you know how to do, the belief that you can do it, and then figuring out how to get clients, like figuring out how to get leads. Like business is seriously that easy. And we make it much more difficult than it needs to be. It is seriously that easy. It's a matter of, okay, what business am I going to pick? Like, what am I going to do? Who am I going to help? Like, figure out who your audience is. What are their problems? Go solve their problems. That's how you create your offer. What am I going to price? And then you need a brand, right? You need like a standout brand. You have to have a way to connect with people, whether it's social media, whether it's a podcast, or whether you're running ads. Not everybody has to do what I do. You don't have to have a podcast. You don't have to show your face. You can get leads without doing that. Everyone thinks they have to be like a social media guru. You don't need to do that. And then you have to find a way to connect those leads and convert them to customers. And that's really it. Like in the beginning, you don't need to do much else. Everything is focused on how do I get known, right? Like if you have skills, if you have stuff that you're good at, and you have something that you think you can offer other people, your biggest problem isn't the offer. Your biggest problem is people don't know who you are. They don't, right? And the more people, if people don't know you, they can't buy from you. And that's an easy problem to solve. Like getting known is an easy problem to solve if you're willing to put the effort in. And you got to do that every single day. And I just go back to, I'll give you a couple of different examples here, but when I first started real estate years ago, and again, I'm no longer in the real estate business. I left that business, but that was the first business that I started. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew that I bought homes. Well, guess how I solved that problem? I started calling people. I called people who had homes that were available for sale or who wanted to sell, and I got myself known. And the more I got known, the more deals that I got. So I mean, and just simple as that. If people don't know that you're a buyer of real estate, like they're never going to sell to you. When I started my coaching business, nobody knew that nobody knew that I was a coach, but I understood how to get leads and I understood how to get known. So I focused everything on that. It's like, okay, I know what I'm going to coach. I know what I'm going to teach for the most part, but I had to get known. And how did I get known? I started a podcast. I got on social media, right? I got on TikTok, I got on Instagram, I got on Facebook. I started creating content, right? I started giving out free lead magnets and all in the hopes of getting known so I could get my first client. And it took a while, just like in real estate, it took me 4 months to get my first client. It took me less time to get my first coaching client because I already knew how to get known. Like I already solved that problem, and I had people that were already in my on my email list, which again is like my first client. But my first client, believe it or not, came from TikTok. My first one-to-one paid client was at one of my TikTok lives, and he reached out to me. We had a conversation, and he took advantage of one of my offers, and he's my first client. And I still work with him today. And this was a couple of years ago, right? So you have to, and now I'm still working on like that's all I work on. Like every day when I wake up, I'm I'm always thinking about my offer, right? Like how do I get known? Like not enough people know me, and I'm telling you, I'm everywhere in terms of my offer. Like I think about when I think about what I offer, like the products and the services that I offer, I want it to be like a billboard on the side of the road. Like if you're driving on the highway and you see the billboard and most of them are like, attorneys or, whatever. That's what I think about my offer. Like it's always on, it never goes off. It's 365 24/7. And that's the way that I've set up my business to make sure that the lights are always on. And I do that with a number of different ways. Number one, I create content. So I have YouTube videos, I have a podcast, like that's evergreen. Like those can always be downloaded, those can always be found. I'm doing this right now. This is lead generation. Like, even though, like, some of you guys know me who are in here, you're probably following me. This is lead generation. Some of you may have just found me for the first time, or maybe you've been a follower for a while, but you're getting to know me. Like, this is me getting known. And then I run ads. That's one of the things that I've always done that I haven't always done, I'm sorry, is run paid ads. And those are on all the time. Like paid ads run all the time. So there's never a moment where I'm not out there, where somebody can't see my stuff. And when I talk to brand new business owners, the brand new business owners that I work with, that this is the nut that we're always trying to crack, which is how do people find me? Because I'm gonna tell you a story, and I'm gonna be very careful with my words here, but there's a lot of people out there who are making lots and lots of money running ads to funnels, to products. I bought some of those products. Some of them are really, really good. Some of them are absolutely terrible, like just terrible. Not even worth something that would be worth my time if it were free. I've seen some free stuff that's been really, really good. And there's a lot of different schools of thoughts on this, but I tell you this story, number one, not to, I want you to be cautious, but I also want you to know that if you can just simply put together a good product and deliver excellent an excellent customer experience, like customer service, that is going to really, really help you with number one, word of mouth, testimonials, because when you like these guys, and I don't want to just say guys because women are doing it too, but these people that are really, really good at marketing, really slick marketers, and they're good at funnels and they're good at copy and they're good at storytelling, but their product's not good, like that's eventually going to catch up with them. Eventually it will catch up. Like you'll make the money, they'll make the money, but eventually the fact that the product, the thing that people are buying isn't any good or it doesn't help them, that will eventually catch up with the person selling it. So I purchased this product, right? And I purchased it strictly because I wanted one thing out of it. Because I believe this is why people buy stuff. And I want you to think about if you ever look at selling any type of an online product, whether it's a PDF or whether it's a mini course or whether it's a full blown course or whether it's coaching, or some type of done for you service, or you start an agency, whatever it is, when you think about selling something, and I want you to think about how business owners think, because I am one and I bought plenty of courses, is people buy anything that I sell. I'm being completely honest with all of you. Anything that I offer, whether it's my one-to-one coaching, my courses, my school community, like all the stuff that's in there that I talk about, you can go find it for free on Google or YouTube. And this is true. Nobody has like some type of proprietary thing that isn't known. Like, and this is what I want you to understand is you can go do it on your own. And the way that I look at buying a solution is okay. First of all, I know what my hourly rate is. This is something that I would encourage all of you to calculate is what is 1 hour of your time worth? And it's very simple. If you are paid by the hour, then that's your hourly rate. That's what 1 hour of your time is worth. If you have a salary, then you divide it by 2,000. There's about 2,000 working hours in a calendar year. So if you make $100,000, you divide it by 2,000, it comes out to about $50 an hour. And I look at that with decisions that I make. I have my hourly rate, it's more than $50 an hour. And I just look at, okay, I have a problem that I'm trying to solve. And if I go on YouTube, or if I try to do it on my own, or if I hire somebody else, it's going to, let's just use the YouTube example. Like, sure, I can figure it out on my own. Like, I could figure out how to put a landing page together. I could figure out, this particular funnel. And this example. I purchased this product because I wanted to build a funnel. And you guys might see the funnel. It's brand new. I just launched it yesterday. I'm running ads to it, and I'm going to document the whole thing on YouTube, upcoming YouTube video, probably in the next couple of weeks. But the I spent about $125 to get this funnel, right? And I actually, even though the rest of the stuff was garbage and was really not beneficial, the funnel was. And that's really the thing that I wanted, because it was like I opened up my CRM, I uploaded it, it was already in there, and I just had to make some adjustments and tweak it, which still took time, but way less time than me building the funnel from scratch. And that's basically the way I looked at it, was like, okay, I'm going to pay $125 for a plug and play funnel that goes right into my CRM, or I can spend 20 hours building it myself. And in that scenario, I'm losing money, and a lot of money, thousands of dollars, by not spending the $125. And that's the way that I approach everything, is what does it cost me to do it on my own? And what does it cost me if I don't buy this product or this solution? Right. And that's the way I approach everything. And I want you guys to start thinking about that, because one of the things that I hear often is, I don't have, this is probably one of the largest roadblocks that any business owner or any aspiring business owner has, is I don't have time. I don't have time to start my own business. I'm working full time. I'm working, 40, 50, some of you working 60 hours a week, which is tough. And I have a family, right? I have kids. I have a spouse. We have a busy life. Like, I just don't know where to fit all this in. And one of the first in I do have a course, guys. I do have a course, right? It's inside of my school community. I do not sell my course separately. I sell sections of it separately. It's a lower ticket offer. But my course, when you come into my school community, W2 Prison Break Nation, the first week of the course doesn't really have anything to do with business, in terms of like the nuts and the bolts, and like, do this, do this, do this. The reason that business owners fail is because they're not mentally prepared. They're not ready. They don't have the right mindset. They don't know how to set goals. They don't have a vision for their personal life. They don't have accountability, and they don't have time management skills. So I have an entire week dedicated to all of those foundational steps. Like, let's get that right first, so that we could put you in a position to, hey, I don't have enough time. And one of the things I talk about in the time management lesson, which is, number one, you need to do an audit of your time. Most people don't know how they're spending their time. You don't. If I asked you to walk me through your day, most of you would give kind of like a glazed over answer. But when you chart it and you document it over a week, you'll be absolutely baffled by how much time you waste doing stuff that doesn't matter. And this is where I go back to, what is 1 hour of your time worth? And if it's $50 an hour or more, why are you cutting your grass when you could pay somebody $30 to do it and they do it way better than you? Why are you going to the grocery store when you could pay somebody $20 to do it for you and save yourself an hour or 90 minutes? I can give anybody that I meet, within a short amount of time, 3 hours back into their day. And most people, I can give them anywhere from 5 to 10 hours back in their week, not their day, sorry, back into their week. And then there's your 5 to 10 hours right there to work on your business. It's just, how do we allocate our time, and how do we spend our time, and what do we work on? And if you don't know how you're spending your time, you're never going to get to that point. And if you don't start to shift the way you think to, like, hey, yeah, my time is worth X. Like, my time is worth 50, 60, 100, $150 an hour. Why am I doing $10 an hour jobs? Why am I doing $20 an hour jobs? And if you're making 20 or $40 an hour, then same thing. Why am I doing work that I could pay somebody else to do $10 an hour for, or $5 an hour for? And if you don't think that that exists, it does exist, because I've had employees that I've paid less than $10 an hour and get the job done, and they do it well. And it doesn't have to be done perfectly. It just has to be good enough. The job just has to be done, right? So that you don't have to do it yourself, and you can work on the stuff that actually moves the needle in your life. And you don't need a business to do this. Like, if I think about this, not all the time, but I think about this a lot. I've been out of my 9 to 5 for almost 5 years, about 4.5 years. And one of the things that I would have done if I could start over was I would have hired an assistant on my own dime and I would have obviously asked my company to foot the bill or pay for some of it, but I would have paid. First of all, I would have went 1099. I would have said, "Hey, pay me as a 1099." I would have started a business, and then I would have expensed my assistant. But think about, I could have paid somebody anywhere from $10 to $20 an hour to do all of my admin BS, like CRM entries and updating my contracts and just all the stuff that I did not need to be doing, checking my emails. Like, email is such a time suck, guys, and most of us are just not doing it properly. And now with the implementation of AI and ChatGPT, I mean, you can really set up automations to have your emails categorized and some of them even responded to. But these are things that we work on in our group and our community, is like, hey, we got to make better choices with our time. Otherwise, you're always going to be a slave to, I don't have enough time to start a business. Like, the top four things, there's the top 3 to 4 things that block most aspiring business owners who are in corporate jobs. They have families, and this is who I work with, right? Corporate employees with families, a good skill set, right? They're making good money and they just have busy lives, and they just really, and also, they're kind of stuck in this situation where they might feel like they're too old, um, or that the lifestyle that they've created from their high paying job, they feel like they got to support that and stay in their job. And there's no way you could ever replace that income in a business. By the way, that was me. I said all of those things out loud, and that kept me stuck for years. But the things that really block people is, it's not necessarily the fear of failure. It's not knowing what to do first. Like, what business do I even pick? Like, what would I even do? And then the fear of time, losing time. And I'll explain this in a little bit more detail, because the older you get, the more this becomes something that will really hold you back. If you've started, and I tell this story a lot, like, I counted them up. I started 26 side hustles. They all failed until the 27th one worked, and it had nothing to do with the side hustle. It was me. It had absolutely nothing to do with the side hustle. Like, I'm telling you, I could go back and I could have looked at any 26 of those and I would have crushed all of them if I had just gotten out of my own way. But what happens is you start these little side projects, right? Like, oh, I'm going to try day trading, or maybe do some blogging, or I'll look at, doing some real estate deals, or, whatever the flavor of the month is, right? Whatever comes across your feed, and you'll try it out. Then what happens is you realize, hey, this is a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. And let's be honest, most 9 to 5 employees get complacent, they get a little bit lazy, and you can't do that in business. Like, you have to be willing to do the dirty work. Unfortunately, it's not fun, it's not sexy, but you have to do it. It's absolutely required for success. But you get to this point where you're testing stuff out, like, okay, I tried this side hustle, it didn't really work. And you may have spent some money buying something like a course, or entered into a program. You tried it out for a couple 3 months, it didn't really pay any dividends, and then you repeat that cycle for a number of times, a number of years. And then what happens is you become afraid to lose your time. Like, you don't want to waste your time on stuff that you have convinced yourself does not work. Like, side hustles don't work. Business doesn't work. And then you become strapped to the point where you're not even willing to try anything. And business does work. What doesn't work is you. That's what doesn't work. In all of those 26 side hustles that I mentioned that I started and quit on, the one constant in all of those side hustles was me. Like, I was present for all of them. And the 27th one that I started, which was my real estate business, had nothing to do with the fact that it was real estate. It was what I did prior to picking that side hustle and in preparation of that business that worked. And it wasn't a lot. It really wasn't. And I'll tell you what those things are that I did. And this is what I teach in my community. This is what I teach one to one. And this is what I talk about all the time on my podcast and my YouTube channel and all of my content is you have to pick one thing, right? You have to pick one business. The answer to replacing your corporate salary in the beginning is not 3 to 4 different sources of income or businesses or different side hustles. You can't keep up with that. You have to pick one and you have to go all in on one. It is not the business, it is your commitment to the business that matters the most. Commitment is the elimination of alternatives, right? So rather than focusing, trying to spread your focus across 3 different businesses, which is not possible to do. It isn't. You have about there's been scientific studies done on this. And I had a gentleman on my podcast that came on that talked about this. When you go in on one thing, right? If you're doing one thing at a time, you have an 85% chance to complete that task. Pretty good odds. When you add a second thing, like multitasking, right? Hey, I'm working on 2 things at the same time. You have a 40% chance of completing both things. So it goes from 85 to 40% when you add a second thing. When you add a third thing, it goes down to 4% to achieve all 3. So it's literally impossible to achieve multiple things at the same time. Now, when you eliminate the alternatives and go on all on one thing, that number one is going to set you up for success. What is the title of my podcast? Thank you for asking. It is called the W2 Prison Break Show. The W2 Prison Break Show. And it's on audio and it's on YouTube as well. I don't post all of the episodes on here. I'll just type it in here. I don't post all of the episodes on YouTube, but all the audios are done. All right. And I do 1 to 2 episodes per week, depending on the week. And I talk about all this stuff. So thanks for asking. What is the title of your podcast? Thanks, Finn, for asking. Justin, what's up? See you a little bit later. All right. So I got sidetracked there, which is totally fine. So once you pick the business, like once you're like, hey, I'm going to go all in on this and I'm going to forget about everything else, which is hard to do. It's not easy to do. Like people just can't focus. Then we have to, number one, to help you with your focus is you have to get around other people that can help you stay focused and accountable, whether that's a mentor, whether that's a coach, whether that's an accountability partner, or whether you're part of a group. Like this is really boring. Everyone that I've ever coached, like I just finished up a coaching call with somebody that I've been working with for over a year. It was our last call. He's moving on. He's doing some other stuff. He's going to be part of our group. I'm just not going to coach him 1-to-1 anymore. And that's fine. You don't stay with the same coach forever. Like you got to continue to level up. Accountability is the thing that he pointed to that changes life. Focus and accountability. Those are the 2 words that came up. Not, hey, you taught me how to, build my business. Like we work on that, obviously, but the big thing is focus, accountability, and starting to shift the way that you think about things. Like you got to shift your mindset from a 9 to 5, a W2 employee mindset over to how a business owner thinks. And this is what really changed it for me was I started to kind of let some of those walls down when I came into a real estate mastermind years ago. It was like, hey, I've been trying to do this on my own for the better part of 15 plus years, 26 different side hustles. Like I bought courses. I never really had a coach or a mentor. And I don't, and that's kind of an ego man thing where, after we get done with school, after we get done with college, it's like, okay, I got everything figured out now. No, you don't. You will never have it figured out. Like I'm going to be 51 years old. I still have mentors. I still have coaches. I'm still around other people that can help me, that can push me. And a lot of them are younger than me. So I'm always looking at that. But when you get around a group of people who are doing it with you, that's really powerful. and you give them permission to hold you accountable. Like that's something that when you allow that into your life, it can really, really move mountains for you. And again, it's a fear thing. A lot of people don't want to look at themselves and say, you know what, it was me the entire time. Like I'm the reason, like Brian, I'm looking at it right now. I'm the reason that it took me until I was 45 years old to start my first business. It's nobody else's fault. It was 100% mine. And I can tell you that I didn't think that way because I blame the side hustle. I'm like, oh, that's a scam. This doesn't work. That, not, this shit doesn't work. Well, no, I did not work. So once I started to change me, how I operated, right? And I started working on my mindset. I was the reason that when I came into the real estate group, the reason that I had fast success or faster success than some of the people in there is because I had been working on the developmental foundational stuff prior to stepping foot in there. So I was ready. Like I was at the end of my rope. I had my rock bottom moment, if you will. It's like, I'm just sick and tired of living this way. I'm sick and tired of watching other people who I know I'm just as smart as and I'm just as capable as have these great businesses and have these great lives and have everything they want. It's like, and I know you all know what I'm talking about. You see it. It's like, how is that person doing it? It's like they're doing it because they're doing it and they're not letting they're not living in the land of victimhood and they're getting it done, right? But they're doing these things. Is number one, they're focusing on one thing. They're all in on one idea, one business. And they just have an ability to eliminate distractions. And they also work on the right stuff. Like they're focusing on the right stuff. They get a hold of their time and they understand that that's the most valuable resource that you have is how you spend your time. And they're willing to do the same repetitive, boring stuff over and over again for a long period of time. Like that's how you win. Identify the stuff that matters the most, do it every single day, do it for a long period of time. Your success is inevitable. It really is. It's inevitable. It's just a matter of time. And most people are not willing to make the time commitment. And if you're around a group of people who can lift you up, who can help you, that even skyrockets your success even faster. And that's what was missing for me. I was missing a system, right? Like I needed steps to follow, like, hey, do this first, then do this, then do this. And then I had people that were helping me and coaching me and holding me accountable. And I also held myself accountable. Like, all right, everything that I think I know about life in my 45 years on this earth, again, this was 5 years ago, I'm just going to check all that at the door because when it comes to this business, when it comes to this thing, real estate, I don't know anything. I don't know. And these people that I've chosen to align myself with, they know more than I do. And I don't care how old they are. And I don't care how much I think I know. Like what's worked, everything that I've tried in the past has not worked. And I would encourage all of you, like if you've been trying stuff and it's not working, it's not the thing that you're trying. It's you. Like it's not the system that you bought. It's not. Now, look, disclaimer, there are some courses that are absolute garbage, and there's some people out there that are just not honest. I was choosing my words carefully there. But if this has been like a repeated thing for you, like you're just constantly beating your head against the wall, like it's not the thing. It's you. Which is why 100% when you come into my community, W2 Prison Break Nation, the first week is all about this stuff: mindset, accountability, goal setting, vision. Like we don't talk about the how of business because what's worked for you in the past, what you've tried in the past has not worked. We focus on you first and then the how. And to spend a week or 2 weeks getting your foundations right, don't you think that would be worth it to build the business the right way this time? I mean, I would just love to hear it from you guys if you think that trying something different or trying a different approach, like nobody else does this. Any course that I've created or even when I was in the real estate group, like we talked about mindset a lot, but that wasn't the first thing we talked about. It was like right into the nuts and bolts of the business. And that's what people want. Like they just want to like, okay, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this thing set up and get this thing set up. And that's like a dopamine hit. Like we feed off of that. Whereas My approach is much different because of the experiences that I've had and what I've seen other people, why I've seen other people not make it is because they're just simply not ready. And the example I use is this. I use this all the time. Everyone in my group is taught the same exact thing, the same thing. Any mastermind that I've been in, everyone is taught the same thing. Why is it that out of 100 people, 10 people absolutely crush it, right? 50 people are just kind of middle of the road. They're maybe doing a deal or two, they're making a little tiny bit of money. And then the bottom half, the other 40, do nothing. Why is that? It has nothing to do with the system, it's the people. Right? The 10 people followed all the steps. They came to all the calls. They showed up. They did everything that they were supposed to do, and they did it for a long period of time. That's why they won. The 50 people that are just kind of, bottom feed or not bottom feeding, but the 50 people that are just kind of like consuming, they're doing like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 steps. They're not getting as much done. And then the bottom 40, they're doing 0 to 1 out of 10, and they'll blame the system like, oh, that doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work in my market, or you can't do that, or blah blah blah, whatever. But the 10 people are absolutely lighting it up, and that will happen. That happens in my group, guys. It does. You come into W2 Prison Break Nation, that will happen. You will see that. You will see people that will never show up. You'll see, the 10 people that come to everything, and shocking that, they're lighting it up, that they're having success, that they're doing good thing, that they're building businesses because they're doing all the stuff. And they're also doing it for a long period of time. So I'm going to let me see if I got anybody on YouTube here. Everyone's on Instagram so far, so hopefully this is working out well here. Um, just a reminder, guys: 12 hours left. I am closing my free community, W2 Prison Break Nation. If you just go to my link in my profile, I'm not even gonna type it in, but hopefully you can hear it. So until tomorrow or until tonight at midnight, you can join my community with a 7-day free trial. So it's kind of like a no brainer. If you want to start a business, you don't know what business to start, you've been beating your head against the wall, you're really just not sure what to do first, you want to get around other parents who are building businesses, who are going through the same challenges as you, join my group. There's a 7-day free trial. If you don't think it's for you, if you don't like it, just you can cancel in 2 clicks. Like, it's the easiest thing to set up. So there's only one link in my profile. It's to my page, and it's $24 a month or $215 per year, which you might be thinking, I may not like that. $215 a year is $17.91 per day. Or if you want to break it down even further, and this is something I teach you guys how to do, especially when you're doing pricing, it's 59 cents per day to join my group for a year. 59 pennies. You've already spent that today. And what return have you received? 59 cents. I mean, you really can't buy anything for 59 pennies, but you can buy my group for 59 cents per day. And that is locked in for life, the $215 per year. And you have a 7-day free trial. So seriously, I can't really give a better no brainer offer than that if you are the type of person who wants to take action, change your life. And we got the new year rolling around. So just go to my group, start your 7-day free trial. I would pick the 215 at checkout. That would be me, because I like the $17 versus 24. The price is going to go up tomorrow when I wake up, December 31st. I don't know what it's going to go up to, and I'm not going to pretend like I know. I'm not going to tell you, oh, it's going to be 79 or it's going to be 50% higher. Like, I don't know. I can just tell you that it's not going to be $24 per month. So, incredible opportunity. I'm on there 5 days per week. We have calls 5 days per week. You get one-to-one calls with me. I will tell you, if anybody wants to join, if anybody's on the fence about joining, like, I'll do something special for anyone here who wants to join. Is anyone interested in joining? And what would be a roadblock that you have? Like, just leave a comment, and I'll see if I can help you out. Like, I'm looking to make it more of a no brainer for you. Like, I think that I have already, but maybe I'm not maybe I'm not hitting it all. So is anybody on the fence at all or interested in joining? Like, and I'll see if I can help push you over the edge here. Because again, remember, it's 7 day free trial. So it's a 2-click cancel. Like, you just have to set up an account. You just set up a school account. You got to put your credit card in. And if you decide it's not for you, you can just simply cancel and you won't get charged. And you can come in and test drive the whole community and you don't have to even make a decision today. Like, that's the beauty of the trial, is you can test drive and see if it's for you, come to some of the calls, you know, interact with some of the members, take some of the courses. On the fence, I'm looking to retire. Finn, on the fence, I am looking to retire in May, but want to start getting things set up to be on my own. Awesome. Okay. Why would you be on the fence? So many people are on the fence, just in general. And this is great that you're being vulnerable here, Finn. I appreciate it. Exploration. Okay, that's the beauty of the trial, is you get to explore. You get to explore and I'll give you, so this is for anyone on this live call, on this live right now. During the 7 day free trial, you already get one call with me when you come in. You get a one-to-one call, plus you get all of the daily calls with me that again, it's a group, but it's like, I'll have a coffee hour 3 times a week. So we just meet for a half an hour. And then I have a co-working session on Wednesday in the afternoon. And then we have a mastermind call. I'm W2 and Finn, everyone's W2 and they work full time and they all think they don't have the extra time. You're perfect for the group. Like, I've heard that so many times and I'm doing my best not to sound like I'm pitching you, but I worked a full-time job. I traveled 100,000 miles a year on airplanes. I was missing half of my son's life. And I just said, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is just not working for me. Like, I refuse to regret missing him grow up. I got one shot at this. So that may not be you, that may be a lot of people, but I'm telling you that everyone's got the time. And that's the beauty of the trial, is like, if all you're losing is your ability to, is the, 5 minutes it's going to take you to set up your account, not even that. But I will give everyone who joins the free trial on this live 3 one-to-one calls. 3. 30 minutes on Google Meet. I'll give you 3 calls. And that's not just during the free trial. If you want to book 3 calls during the free trial, we'll do it. Or I can do like one long 1-hour call or maybe a 90-minute call, whatever. I want you to stay and I want to help you, but I want to help you get past that first roadblock. And usually the first roadblock is, hey, I don't really know what business to start. And then I don't think I have enough time to do this. Those are the 2 major things. And then just the belief that you have the ability to do it, right? Like, hey, people are actually going to buy from me. If you've been in a, if I mean, you're looking to retire, so you've been in the corporate world for a long time, there's likely a lot of stuff that you can do, right? And we have people from all walks of life, all different ages. I'm actually not the youngest person in the group, but I'm 50. I'm going to be 51 coming up, but we have all different, I have to be careful about what I say, but we have all different age ranges, and people doing different things. And that's what you'll see during the trial. I mean, you probably, if you've been following me, you see that I post a lot of stuff and we have people doing all different types of stuff. So that is the offer for this live. If you're looking to sign up, and I'll just take everyone's advocacy type of work, right? I believe that you should do whatever you want to do. Like, there's a way to monetize just about anything if you have the right strategy, if you have the right plan, and you have that stick with itness ability in you, right? Like, you just can't. The link is in my profile. Yes, it is. It's the only link, which is one thing that I'll teach you guys, is drive everybody to the same thing. There's Justin. You'll start with doing some time management. Justin's in our group, guys. Thanks, buddy, for listening. And you and I are going to speak later. Yeah, everyone who's done so in week, I can't share my screen, unfortunately, on Instagram, but I would. But everyone who has gone through the time audit, which is, and I'll just tell you what it is, and I have a whole lesson on how to manage your time, and it's in the beginning. It's like one of the first things you'll have to do. Everyone who goes through that exercise, you're like, wow, I really, that was eye opening. I didn't realize how much time I was spending doing this thing or these particular things. And it's, look, it's not fun. It's kind of a grueling process because you're charting your time every 15 minutes. So you're going to work on something, and then every 15 minutes you're going to be like, okay, I did this or I did this. And if you give it an honest go, you will find gaps in your time. And then you give it to me and I work with you through it. So, and I mean, Justin's been through it. Like all my one-to-ones have been through it. Not everyone in the group has gone through it, but the ones that have all said the same thing. It's like, hey, this really is something that was super helpful. So again, there's a reason why I have it set up the way that I have it set up, is because the majority of people that come to me, that meet me, they've tried it a different way, or they've tried like the conventional routes, and it hasn't worked for them. And that's why I have my system set up the way that we have it set up. It's like, hey, let's work on you first, because you need to be in the right frame of mind to start a business. You have to be mentally prepared. You have to think differently. If you bring, this is where the danger is. This is where a lot of like old school corporate employees don't make it in business. And it's got nothing to do with me. It's like they bring the bad habits into their business, right? The complacency, like, or the stuff that would be, maybe they would think would be beneath them, like cold calling people. Or now, look, I don't want to scare you. You guys don't have to cold call people. I'm just saying that's what I did in my real estate business. And that was something that I had kind of from. All right. So you guys probably didn't hear that, but somebody just signed up. That's the cool thing about school, is it does the cash register to Ching when new members sign up. So let's see if it was all right. I'm pretty sure it was Finn. Um, was that you, buddy? I think he left, but I think that was Finn. I'm pretty sure. So Finn gets the 3 calls. All right. So that's what I'm doing, guys. Anybody who signs up for the free trial, again, it's 215 for the year, 59 pennies per day. Divided at 215 divided by 36 months. Sorry, by 365 is 59 cents per day. You all have that change sitting in your car, like in the side handle, right? I put in one of my ads is, this is the one that my son made me yesterday. Like I'm running this ad right now. You probably can't see it, but because it's backwards, but it says join W2 Prison Break Nation for 59 pennies per day. And it's performing pretty well. I'm probably going to keep it going for a bit. But Finn gets 3 times one-to-one calls. All right, that's the deal. So during this live, anybody who starts their free trial, like you don't even have to stay. I'll give you up to 3 one-to-one calls. Oh, I didn't even hold that. Good. So let me go back. So I'm on the Instagram. There it is. Anyone who joins the trial, I'll give you 3 one-to-one calls, 30 minutes each with me. You could use them if you stay after the trial. They'll be good. But you can also, because like you get one anyways, right? But I'll give you a total of 3, and you could book them all during the trial, and you'll see my calendar. This is no joke. So 3 times one-to-one calls with, I'm gonna type it into the chat here, with Brian. So the link is in my profile. There's about 12 hours left. 12 hours left. And what I would, before it expires, so the rate's going to go up. I'm not going to keep it at that low rate. I don't know what I'm changing it to, but it's definitely going to go up. And this is locked in. So even after like the free trial, like if you lock in your free trial now, you get to keep that rate. So all you have to do is just start your trial. And Finn just joined because he said the link is in your bio. So he signed up. So he gets, I'm writing all this down. So who's going to be the next person to at least start your trial? Like go check it out. It's the only link in my profile. If you are a busy parent, you have a 9-to-5 job, you have a corporate career, you got kids, You got a busy life. You want to start a business, particularly an online business. And look, let me clarify because somebody brought this to my attention. Online does not mean that you have to sell courses, that you have to sell digital products. That's not what that means. Online means that I'm not teaching you how to go open up a franchise or go open up a brick and mortar store. I'm teaching you how to open up a business that gives you location freedom. So that can be coaching. It is coaching and consulting. It can be an agency. Like we have someone in our group who started a project management agency. Like he does it out of his office. But guess what he does for a living? He's a project manager. And he simply just, and you guys have heard about this, and you'll see it if you go to my page, you'll see that Joe just landed a $62,000 project management job for 3 months. And all he did, like this is the mindset shift that he went through, and this is what he and I talked about was he gets jobs for his project management career for himself. He goes out and he gets jobs. He talks to recruiters and he does them as 1099. And I simply just told him, I'm like, Joe, go get the job and then sub it out to somebody else. And we had conversations about this for weeks, probably months, where it was like, no, 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 I can't do that. That wouldn't be, they wouldn't like that. And it's like, no, they would like that. You have to understand that businesses want to work with business owners, like companies. Like the fact that you can go to them and say, hey, look, I got a team of people that are helping me manage your project. They actually like that. So he finally got over his fears around that and he lined the whole thing up. So and this is right on my page. You can guys go and look in the group and see the testimonial that he left. He put it in the Wins channel where he got the job at like $135 per hour and he subbed it out for $75 per hour and he keeps the difference and he's not doing any of the work. So he's going to profit like $26,000 just for making that simple shift, stuff that he was already doing. Yeah, I saw that you signed up. Great job. Welcome to the group. I'll announce you personally when I get off of this live and get back in there. And you get your 3 calls. So you'll see when you start to go through the first courses, you'll be directed. Like I'll send you a DM, all that stuff, and you'll be told what to do. Just get your first call on the calendar, and we can either do one that's an hour, one that's, or just do 3 1-to-1s, whatever. And you get that during the free trial. And if you end up staying, then you can space them out a little bit more if you want to. So awesome. You get the 3 calls. See, sweet. I love when people take action and congratulate. Look, this is a hard thing to do, even if, like, I remember, like, look, guys, let's be honest. For the majority of you, $24 a month is a flipping joke. $215 a year is a joke. You will blow that today on dinner, and you will blow that today on stuff that will not ever pay you a return. If you are willing to show up and commit and focus, like my group is going to pay you a return. And why am I doing it at $215 a year? That's a great question. I feel like everyone's stealing from me. I'm doing it because number one, I have been where you are, right? And if it was, I remember when I bought my first course in real estate, it was $797. And I made a couple $100,000 a year. It had nothing to do with the money. Like I labored over this decision when I was 44 years old. I labored over it. And it had nothing to do with the money. It was my brain, it was my mindset that, okay, here we go again. Here's something that Brian is going to try and never finish, right? Like I'm never going to take the course. And I was more fearful of losing my time than spending money. Like I would have spent that week alone probably $797 on a bunch of nonsense. That is what is blocking most people. It is not the money. Yeah, good workout, buddy. I'll see you later for our call. Justin's one of my 1-to-1, so we have a 1-to-1 call every week, and he's awesome. And he's in the group, and he's doing a great job. Um, it's getting over that. It's not about the money. It's about your commitment to it. Like there's a fear of putting yourself out there. There's a fear of committing. And once we get over this, once we get out of our own way, like the sky's the limit. Like when you come into the group, you'll see within a short amount of time, like everybody is going to be talking about the same exact stuff that you're telling yourself. Like, I don't have enough time. I don't know what business to start. I've I'm gun shy. I've tried so many different things and they haven't worked, which is why my program is set up the way it is. It's like I listen to people and I think about people don't know what business to start. It's like the business that you're supposed to start already lives in you. Like you have all this knowledge, you have all this skill, you have all this ability. Your problem is you don't know how to package it up and people don't know who you are. Everyone that you meet, everyone will have something to teach you and vice versa. So when you meet somebody for the first time, you know something that they don't and vice versa. And that's been a really powerful mindset shift for me, regardless of background or age or anything. Like everyone that's in here right now, if you have something to teach me and I have something to teach you. And it's just a matter of like, are we willing to allow that to happen? And I had a very, very large ego for a long period of time where I just didn't think I needed anybody's help. And that's why I was stuck. I was stuck because I couldn't get out of my own way. And that's the biggest fight that most of you will have is you will fight with me and with yourself and with other people and with other people in the group to stay in your comfort zone because your comfort zone feels good. It's familiar. Even if you don't like it, even if you hate your job, you don't like your life, your comfort zone is certainty. Here's at least that's the spin that you put on it. Is like, hey, I know what I'm getting. Well, guess what? You don't know what you're getting because your certainty that you think you have right now can be taken away from you tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow because it's New Year's Eve, but you get what I'm saying. It can be taken away from you without warning. And there is no certainty. And this is one of the things that we ask of you when you come into the group is I want you to let go of these words like certainty and predictability and hey, I need to know that this will work. And it's like you're taking all of the blame and responsibility off of you and you're putting it on to something else or outside conditions. Whereas if you would just simply focus on you and the things that you can control and be willing to decide, commit, focus. Those are the three words that we talk about. They're actually on my laptop. Decide, commit, focus. If you can get those three things burned into your brain, you can potentially have a life changing experience if you do it for a long period of time. So the decide is number one. You have to decide that I'm no longer going to tolerate my life. And I tolerate because most of us are tolerating our lives and we're living in this victim role. Decide, I'm no longer going to tolerate my life in my current situation. You make a commitment. Commitment is the elimination of alternative. You go all in on one thing. I have people in my school community that are in 25 different groups. And I tell them, I'm like, you have to eliminate 95% of them, if not 99% of them. And they're like, oh, I just want to keep my options open. I'm like, how has that been working out for you so far? Keeping your options open is not a business mindset. That is not how a business owner thinks. You need to be focused. You need to be committed. Because again, you'll hear me say this over and over. It is not the business that you pick. It is your commitment to the business that matters. It is not the business that you pick. It is the commitment to your business that matters. And commitment is the elimination of alternatives. So we decide, we commit, and then we focus. And by focusing, what I mean by that specifically is we have a handful of things that we're doing every single day that drive our business forward, drive our lives forward. Most of us are doing the same stuff every single day. Some of us are working on the wrong stuff. Some of us are working on the right stuff. When you're working on the right things, and it's only a handful of things, and you're doing them every single day over and over for a long period of time, your Success is just a matter of time. Like you are going to win. You are going to beat people simply by default because number one, the majority of people, and I've met people from all walks of life. I've interviewed over 200 people on my podcasts. I've been on over 50 interviews. I've spoken on stages. I've been in mastermind groups. I've interacted with so many people. And I can tell you that the majority of people that struggle with is the F word, focus. They cannot stay with the same thing for a long period of time. And if you can figure that out, if you have the ability to focus and go all in on one thing and do it for a long period of time, you're going to win by default simply because people are going to give up. They're going to dabble, they're going to quit. So I want you to think about this right now. And I use this gentleman as an example all the time because he's living proof of it. Excuse me, I need a drink of water here. Michael, okay, he's in our group. I started working with him. I met him, I think, back in the summer, so June or July. And he, a similar story, stuck, is trying side hustles, and he's got this passion for soccer. Like he loves soccer. He's a referee on the side. He's got a sales job, and he found me and hired me as his coach. And he joined the community, W2 Prison Break Nation. And he's in there. He's very active. He's the most active guy in the community. He wins the leaderboard contest every single month. So he comes to everything. Like again, we talked about doing all the steps, like doing all 10 steps, not 5, not 7, like all of them. Like he does all of them. Justin does all of them. He started an Instagram page and the school community for soccer referees. He was very specific. He's like, hey, I want to help soccer referees get better games. And so we worked out the whole thing. He had never posted a reel on Instagram before. So he came up with this kind of a cool strategy and he started posting back in August. Right. He had 0 followers. He had 0 followers and 0 people in his group. Okay. And I just want you to understand how much can change in a short amount of time if you follow these 3 words: decide, commit, and focus. He now has, you can go check his Instagram account. It's the Referee Circle. So I'll write the handle in here. Well, I can't, the referee. I don't think I spelled that right. The Referee Circle. So go look at that account. He has over 10,000 followers. And he and I made a bet that it would be before Christmas, before Santa came. And he got it on December 24th. He got 10,000. So over 10,000 followers, never posted before. So since August, so in like 4 months, and he's got 115 people in his school community. He started a school community for referees, started free. We talked about starting paid, and we ended up like, let's do free, let's build up the goodwill. And now on January 1st, he's going to flip it to a paid group. And he's got 115 people in there that are all telling him, hey, you should charge this. I would pay this for the group. So he's got like real live feedback from his members. He's got 10,000 followers. He's getting he's getting millions of views. In 1 month, he had 17 million views on Instagram. Never posted before. And I have never got that many. And I have 30 something thousand followers. I have another 33 on TikTok. And I've been doing this for a long time. Like he's lighting it up. And his strategy is he posts 2 to 3 reels every single day. I don't think he's missed many days in the 4 months. Like he's might have missed a few, but he shows up. Like that's the secret sauce, is that he just keeps doing it. He's doing the same thing. Oh, if you go look at his account, the Referee Circle, at the Referee Circle, you will see that all of his videos are exactly the same. Like he does the same thing over and over again. And that's how he built up 10 followers. He's got one link in his profile. He talks about his offer, which is to join his free community. Now he's going to flip it to paid. And now he's getting recognized by other creators because, soccer is mainly is not as well known in the United States. But he's been on 2 podcasts. mine, and a soccer refereeing podcast, shocker. And they had him on Instagram live yesterday with like five other high level referees in the UK. 4 months ago, 6 months ago, when I met him, he was like at his wits' end. And now look at him. Short amount of time, a lot can happen. What do you think is going to happen to him by the end of 2025 if he continues to just stick with that strategy, like posting the content, getting known, getting the followers? Do you think he could potentially have 100 more paid members in his group because he's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow? Maybe he's got 100,000 followers by the end of 2025. Like, you'll see that he's just a regular person, just like everybody else. He's got a family, he's got kids, he's got a job, and he's just doing stuff that other people are not willing to do. And that's all it takes, is to simply decide, commit, and focus, and to do it for a long period of time. And for him, it's happened much faster than a lot of the people that I've worked with, because he has not allowed himself to get distracted. Like, he's on one platform, he's on Instagram. He hasn't tried any other side hustles. Whereas, some of the people that I work with, it's like, oh, I want to look at this, I want to look at this. So I like one of the biggest challenges I have is getting people to just stay in one lane. And that's what accountability and focus does for you. It's like, hey, when you run off the road a little bit, we help bring you back on. And that's why that works so well in our group, as accountability. Okay. I'm pretty happy with what's happened here. um, we had a gentleman join the community, um, that just signed up on this live, and I'm going to give everyone who's on this live the same opportunity. And if nobody wants to take it, that's cool. That's totally fine. I might come on later and do this again. For anyone who starts their free trial for W2 Prison Break Nation, it is the only link in my profile. It's a 7-day free trial. There's no commitment. You can test drive the whole community. There's no catch. Seriously, if you don't like it, I don't have, my main course, my flagship course is not locked. So you can go through that, get in there. You will have 3 one-to-one calls with me. So I'll give you 3 30-minute calls with me. You can use those during the free trial, or you can use those if you stay after the free trial. You can use them afterwards. You can spread them out if you want. I can do one 1-hour call and a 30-minute call. We can look at possibly doing one 90-minute call. But once you get in there, start the trial. There's no commitment. You don't have to decide today. Obviously, I want you to stay, but it's $215 for the year, guys. $24 a month, or $215 a year. If you take the $215 per year, it ends at midnight. So at midnight tomorrow, the price is going up, and I don't know what the price is going to go up to. It's 59 cents per day to join my community for the year. 59 cents. What are you going to, or $24 a month, or $17 a month, depending on how you look at it. If you take the annual plan, like, you guys are spending $24 a month on stuff that is a complete waste of time. Like, you probably have $24 per month charges that you're not even aware of. So go through your credit card account and look at stuff that you're blowing money on that you forgot about, and go cancel that and join my group, and I will help you launch a business in 2024. Like, that's my commitment to you if you show up. But if you take advantage of the trial now, the 7-day free trial, I'm going to give you 3 one-to-one calls, which is 2 more than you would normally get during your trial period. All right. If anybody wants that, go do it. Otherwise, I'm going to hop off. I think there's only one person in here. Who's in here? Hugh? We had somebody take advantage of it. I might come on later on, but I got to take a break. And for those of you who are not on Instagram, I'm also doing this live on YouTube. If anyone's there, I haven't looked at the comments. It's school.com, W2 Prison Break Nation. School.com with a K, SKOOL, W2 Prison Break Nation. Yep, you did. You're the only one. All right. I'm going to hop off for now. I will be back later. Yeah, awesome. Good job, man. Congratulate this move. I always like to just tell people to give themselves credit because these decisions are not easy. They're not to be taken lightly. And it's like people have a hard time with this. So just getting to this point, like just making like, hey, I don't want to be on the fence anymore. I'm going to get off the fence. Okay. And trust me, when you get in and you start seeing people, it'll be a good thing. And I might come back later and do this again. Come back on. I got to take a break, have some lunch. I got a coaching call coming up. Um, I actually saw this is pretty interesting too. So in school, and then I'll wrap up. They have what's called the school games every month, and whoever gets in the top 10 gets to go to Las Vegas and meet Alex Hormozy and sit with him for a day and all the other winners. So it's like cutthroat, and these guys are doing couple like the winner I think last month did like $185,000 in monthly recurring revenue for the month of December, and they give the winner the top prize gets $100,000 or a Cybertruck. And the guy who won is a barber. He teaches people how to make more money as barber. So just I want you to think about all the different things that you could start communities on. I don't teach people just to do stuff on school. We have all different types of people looking at all different types of businesses that are of the online capacity. Again, I don't teach brick and mortar stores. I don't teach franchises. If that's what you're looking for, I'm not your guy. But if you want to learn how to package up your skills, your current skills from your career, your corporate career, maybe you have a hobby like Michael with soccer, we'll teach you how to package that up and turn it into a business so that you don't have to learn a brand new system. Like you already know how to do something. Now you just have to learn how to get leads, get customers, right? And I'm not saying that's easy, but it's easier than learning a brand new system or learning a brand new skill. Like you already know how to do something, it's time to get paid for it. Like get paid more than you're currently getting paid for. Um, but anyways, the top 10, if you look at the top 10 in the school games, you'll see that there's so much variety. It's not everyone is not doing the same thing. It's all different. All right. So thanks for joining. I'll be on maybe later. I'll pop back on here. But this was awesome. This was fun. I hope it worked out. Thanks for coming. I was on for about 90 minutes.